Hello class, this is Mr. Sword speaking for 6th grade physical science. Today's lesson we're going to be looking at is lesson 4.6, and it is the basics on how do I balance chemical equations. We're going to be looking at the very basics of it, what it means to balance it, what strategies I should use, as well as how do I find the missing coefficients. So with that, we're just going to get started with a little bit of review and then get into balancing. One thing I always like to remember is that balancing equations is a lot like using a recipe or following a recipe to make a cake. And so you need to have a certain amount of flour, you need to have a certain amount of salt, certain amount of sugar, 2 eggs, or however many eggs you need. And then those reactants or those ingredients yield products. Okay, so yields like the oven, it goes into the reaction. Over time, it creates something new, a cake. And so I also need to remember that what goes into the cake, the reaction, if you will, however many pieces of stuff that I have, must also be equal on the other side. So the law of conservation of mass applies here in that no mass is created nor destroyed. It is only changed and rearranged into something different. It appears different. So the coefficients are, the amounts of certain compounds and molecules are going to change, but the mass of matter that is involved in the reaction will not. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that in a moment. There are 3 main tips to balancing equations. A balancing of equations just means that I'm changing the coefficients to make one side equal to the other, the reactants equal to the products. Now, someone might ask, well, why do I change the coefficients? Why can't I change the subscripts? Well, to answer that question, I like to think, well, is H2O going to be the same if I change the subscript of 2 to 3? I would have H3O, or if I had changed it to 1, it'd be HO. That is not the same as water, and so to change the amount of water I have is kind of like putting 3 eggs in instead of 2. I'm not changing what the eggs are in the cake. I'm just simply adding another egg to it. And so to change the subscripts would change the element itself. And so we only change the coefficients. And so whenever I'm balancing, I only change the coefficients. These are the numbers in front of the molecules. Do not change the formulas themselves. Do not. It's a bad thing. It will make you sad. Okay, so second thing, balance the complicated ones first with lots of different atoms, and then leave the ones that are representing the elements or just one type of atom until last. One type of problem in balancing equations that you're going to be coming up against is a type of problem like this. What coefficient should I put in front of O2, which is right here, to balance the equation? Now, what it means to balance the equation, again, is that this side here, the reactants, will have the same amount of C's, H's, and O's as the products side. So I'll have the same numbers here and here. And to balance the equation, I change the coefficients. Now, this isn't changing what the element molecule is. It is changing how much of that molecule. Let's just use the ingredients idea as an analogy. The more I have of something, the more I will also have on the other side as well over here. And so I need to remember that when I'm adding coefficients. I need to figure out first how many C's, how many H's, and how many O's are on these sides to see if it's balanced. I don't know how many O's there are here. That's what I'm trying to find out. So, without further ado, let's take a look at how many C's we have. We have 2 groups of 2 C's, so that gives us 4 C's, 4 carbons. And then we also have 2 groups of 6. So 2 times 6, that gives me 12 hydrogens. Now, over here at the reactant, or the product side, I apologize, is we have 6H2. That means I have 6 waters, 6H2O, and so I have 12 hydrogen, and then right now I have 6 oxygens. Okay, I'm not going to say that's my final answer here. I need to remember I got another molecule yet, and that has an oxygen right there. So I need to remember this is not the total yet. Okay, so I look here, I have 4 groups of CO2. That means I have 4 groups of 1 carbon. So I got 4 carbons, and now I have 4 times 2 oxygens. That gives me 8 more oxygens, which gives me a grand total of 14. This number right here, I'm going to have to change so that I have 14 oxygens on the reactant side. So I want you to think for a moment, what number would I put there in order to have 14 oxygens? Well, we got O2, so 2 times what number is going to give us 14? That would be 7. And so I have 7 as my coefficient. And so I'm going to have 14 oxygens on this side. So now everything is balanced, everything's equal, and everything is good. We got those balanced out, and we know that our coefficient should be 7. Let's do another type of problem of the same thing. We're going to try to find the coefficient of Cl2 over here in the product side. We have SeCl6. And so we have 1 group of Se, and we have 6 groups of chlorine, or 6 chlorines, and then we have 2 oxygens. Over here, I see we got 1 group of SeO2, so that means we got 1 Se. And since I got a subscript of 2, I got 1 group of 2, so I only have 2 of those. And so I look here and I see, what do I need for Cl in order to be balanced? So I got a 2, so I'm thinking in my head, and so that's going to give me the 6 chlorines that I have, and then I see that they're all balanced. I want you to think, which of these is the balanced form? You'll have to write those out and try to figure out which one it is. Is it A, is it B, is it C, or is it D? And then your next question is, what can I change when balancing equations? Is it the coefficients? Is it the subscripts? Is it both? Or is it the chemical symbols? Again, if you have any questions with this, please rewind me or pause me or write notes on the notes that we have, and definitely by all means take a look back at this to see, and you should get these right if you are watching the video. You just need to make sure that these are balanced, and for number 1. So with that, I'm going to leave you. Next video, I'm going to talk about more in depth on balancing when there is no coefficients or very minimal amounts of coefficients in the equation. Until then, you can keep working on your science.